Ottertail Telecom for hosting this program. My name is Shannon Terry. I am the Public Information Officer for Ottertail County. Ottertail County is hosting this program to highlight the programs, the services of Ottertail County, and we welcome your comments and to stop by, call us, or visit our webpage. We will have contact information throughout the show. Today, we have Cedar Walters. She's the Public Information Officer and Education Officer for Ottertail County, and she is here to tell us a lot of information about recycling and household hazardous waste. It's going to be a really exciting show. Thanks for being here, Cedar.
Thanks, Shannon.
So, I recently drove past the recycling center, and I noticed this big sign that said we have something really exciting, a Waste Wizard app. Can you tell us about that?
That's right. So there's a new app on the Solid Waste County website, and it's called the Waste Wizard, and I like to describe it as almost like Google for your trash and recycling. It's a simple search tool. There's a search box. You type an item that you're trying to get rid of into that search box, and up pops all the information you need for how to dispose of it, whether that's something you don't know if you can recycle it, or you have something from your home like that might be hazardous. Where do I actually bring that? And it will tell you all the information you need to know to get rid of that item.
So I can get this on my phone or on my computer?
That's right, so you can access it on the website, but if you go there, you'll notice there's buttons on the bottom. You can click to go to the App Store if you have an iPhone or an iPad, or to Google Play for an Android device. So you can get this app for free on your phone for how to dispose of everything in Ottertail County.
That is so fun. So now if I don't know how to get rid of a sofa, I just type in sofa and it'll tell me where in Ottertail County I can take the sofa and how much it will cost.
That's right, even the fee, there's even a link to a map with driving directions. So it's really a one-stop shop that's just gonna kind of give you all the information you need, really, to, whether it's a couch or it's electronics or paint, it's really just gonna be that handy, easy tool for you to know what to do.
That's great. I hope a lot of people sign up. It sounds like it's really going to be useful.
That's right.
I also saw that there was a recent article about the contamination in recycling. So that has to be a concern for Ottertail County and at the recycling center and for the people that are sorting the recycling. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So, I mean, this is kind of an ongoing problem in the recycling industry in general. This is not just a problem here in Ottertail County. This is an everywhere problem right now that I think people want to recycle more than ever, but because it saves resources, it helps protect the planet, and it's really just a great thing we can all do, but it can sometimes lead to people putting a little bit too much into their recycling bin. And so we do see things that should not be in there, and sometimes it's clear that this was something somebody wanted to recycle. It just can't be recycled in our system here. And so some common things we've found would be lots of plastic bags. And while if those are clean, you can bring them back to like a retailer or a grocery store and they have a bin you put them in to recycle them, but in a normal recycling bin they just aren't recyclable. So we see a lot of those. We see a lot of bulky items like big flower pots or pieces of wood. You know, there's probably a way to reuse those or dispose of them properly, but they really don't belong in the recycling bin. Along with cartons, which again, some places take those to recycle and we just don't have that in our program here. So those are kind of a no item. Styrofoam is always confusing because there's a symbol on it, and I know, we're always taught look for the symbol, and that's just one that once it's kind of puffed up in that styrofoam form, it just isn't really recyclable. So those are some really common items we see that just shouldn't be in the recycling.
And so what will happen when these items get into the recycling system?
Well, in our facility here, we actually have hand sorters, and so people have to take those items out one by hand, and so it actually adds a lot of work to handling your recycling because people are handling it. They're taking out all that garbage, and if there's something gross in there, like a lot of old food, or occasionally, I think they found a dead duck one time, they're physically removing that. And so we really want to protect our workers and make sure that we're keeping it clean because they're handling it, and then it can actually reduce the quality of that material, which we are trying to sell to help support the recycling program.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So what can the average person do to just make sure that their recycling gets recycled?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things I would recommend. So number one, make sure that what you're putting in there is recyclable, and so you can access the Ottertail County Recycling Guide on our website, which will be available to you. And So I think you can download that on the website, and it's just a handy guide. You know, put it on your fridge, just so you make sure you know what goes in there, and it comes along with a handy list of no items that you should not be putting in there. And so that's a really great guide to use. You can look stuff up on the Waste Wizard. Hey, can I recycle this plastic hanger? I really want to put it in there. I really want to recycle it, but can I? So go ahead and look that up. It just takes a second. And then for containers, you just want to give them a quick rinse, and then you can recycle them. You don't want a lot of food in there, but you don't need to run them through the dishwasher either. And then if it's a paper product or cardboard, just as long as it's reasonably clean and dry, you can go ahead and recycle that. And then that's basically it. So make sure you know what to recycle, and make sure it's not too dirty or contaminated.
And some things we might have a question. I don't know if this should be recycled, but I know it can't go in the garbage. So paint, light bulbs, maybe some pieces of metal. We know that those can't go in either.
Right.
So now what do people do?
Right. So again, that's where the Waste Wizard is a really handy tool, because there's some things, right, it seems like they shouldn't just go in the garbage, but they don't really fit in the recycling category either, like holiday lights are a great example of that. Shouldn't go in the garbage, shouldn't go in the recycling. If you look them up on the Waste Wizard, you'll see that they do get recycled, but you need to drop them off at the recycling center for a special holiday lights recycling collection. You can drop them off year-round there, or at participating county locations from November 15th to January 15th. And we do a holiday lights collection to specifically gather those up together, and they actually kind of get recycled along with electronics.
And I know we've been talking about recycling, but could you tell people in Otter Tail County where their garbage goes? I'm kind of have an idea that maybe people don't really know where their garbage goes.
That's right. So a lot of the time our garbage goes to the Perham Resource and Recovery Facility, which is actually a waste to energy facility located in Perham. And so actually at that facility we are burning the garbage, but we're creating energy that's helping to power Bongart's Creameries and Tuffy's Pet Foods. And the steam that's made in that process actually helps to like process the pet food and the food products that are coming out of there. So the steam is used as heat and almost an aid in cooking. So it's great.
Thank you. And that might be why we don't want to put holiday lights into our garbage, or hoses.
Right. That's right. So things that tangle up in equipment, they're actually called tanglers. Things like holiday lights, garden hoses, or big bulky items, they really don't go through that Perham Resource Recovery Facility very well, because there's a lot of equipment, and things that get tangled in there can cause plant shutdowns and just cause a lot of problems. And so we want to make sure that those are disposed of properly.
And people actually are sorting the garbage at the waste energy facility, are they not?
That's right. So just like people are hand sorting your recycling here at the recycling facility in Fergus Falls, people at the Perham Resource Recovery Facility are also handling your garbage, and many people don't know that. So at the beginning, when the garbage is coming in, they are pulling off all those things that should not be in the garbage, like big bulky things, electronics, which shouldn't go through there, hazardous items, which we don't want going through that incinerator. So all kinds of stuff, they're pulling that off so it does not go through that process. And that's actually really important to know. That's why we don't want to put paint or things that might explode or start fires. We really want to be careful about what we're putting in there.
And Otter Tail County has another facility attached to the recycling facility that will take hazardous waste, such as paint, light bulbs. But there's another feature that's pretty exciting for the people to really know about, and that is the product exchange. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the Household Hazardous Waste Program is awesome, because it's going to take all that hazardous stuff you don't want to put in the garbage but doesn't belong in the recycling. It's going to take all that for free from households as a service. And so paint, cleaners, fluorescent light bulbs, all that. But if there are products that are still good, again, we want to be reusing if we can. If they're still good, we offer them back to the public free of charge. And it's just a great service. So if you have that small home improvement project, you need to paint a closet or something small, or you need some lawn and garden chemicals, you know, maybe you just need a little bit of something and you don't want to go to the store and get a giant container, you can go in and take that off the shelves for free. And it's just a great way to reuse instead of disposing of things.
Mm-hmm. And what about, you had mentioned electronics. They pull those out at the waste to energy facility. Where would people take those? I know we can use the Waste Wizard, but since we have you here, Cedar, could you tell us where some of those things will go in Otter Tail County?
Sure. So electronics are, you would bring those to a transfer station, and there's different fees depending on the kind of item. You know, some things are quite small, some things like a huge TV screen would be a little bit different. So the fee is going to vary. But electronics you can bring to transfer stations, and they are recycled. The metals are taken off of the circuit boards and things like that at a special plant or place that does that. And so they are recycled, but again, they just can't go in that normal bin, so you'd want to take them to a transfer station for electronics recycling.
And we no longer call transfer station dumps. And that's because things aren't getting dumped there, right? They are getting transferred. So could you explain that? What happens to the electronics, to the white goods, the refrigerators?
Yeah.
What happens to those? Because they don't just get dumped there.
I know, and it's funny. A lot of people do still call it the dump because I think historically that's been a place where we've dumped waste and it stays there. But you're right, a transfer station, if you think about the name, a transfer, we're gathering certain kinds of waste together, kind of in larger quantities, and then it is getting transferred or shipped out to a different destination. So like electronics, we gather enough until there's like a semi-load or a big load that we can ship out to an electronics recycling company. And so we're collecting items up, and then they're getting moved to an appropriate location after that.
But in Otter Tail County, there are 2 landfills, correct?
Yep.
Could you explain the difference or what we put in a landfill in Otter Tail County? Because we don't put garbage.
Right.
So what do we put in our 2 landfills?
That's a great question. So we do have 2 landfills, but they are demolition landfills. And so into those is going to go all kinds of building materials and things like wood or concrete, left over from building projects. But you're right, no garbage goes in there. And so those are located in Henning and at the Northeast Transfer Station near New York Mills. And yep, demolition landfill only. So we don't actually landfill any garbage in Otter Tail County.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
That's something that we really want people to know, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, thank you so much, Cedar, for being here. I really learned a lot. And it will have more contact information of how to get the Waste Wizard and to contact Cedar. Cedar also provides environmental education programs. Would you like to just say a few, highlight some of the programs that you're working on and how that you go into schools? And
Sure.
Maybe we should talk about that quick.
Sure, absolutely. So I love working with people and teaching people about how to be green, how to reduce your waste, how to be environmentally friendly. And so I love visiting schools or working with community groups to provide services like that. So I have really fun lesson plans, all kinds of fun composting activities, recycling activities. I know I'm bringing a recycling truck and some recycling activities to a preschool class next week, doing some things with a kindergarten class in a couple of weeks. And then I've done things with 4th graders. So there's just a lot of really great activities and lessons that you can do to really teach people about waste, where their garbage goes, how we can all do our part to reduce waste and protect the earth, because we only have one and we want to keep it really beautiful for ourselves and our kids and our grandkids.
So teachers or members of community groups could just give you a call?
Absolutely. Yep, definitely. Feel free to give me a call, and I love working with people to create a lesson or an activity or an event that really works with your organization.
Oh, and you have an event coming up this November.
That's right. So America Recycles Day is November 15th. Good thing you brought that up. And so actually, if you come to the recycling center in Fergus Falls in person that day and bring your recycling, you get to draw a prize. And so we'll have all kinds of prizes. So we'll be actually open late that day until 7, because I really want to encourage people to bring their kids, and your kids can get a prize for being superhero recyclers on America Recycles Day, November 15th. So that's next Thursday.
That sounds really fun.
Yeah, it will be fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Otter Tail Telecom, for hosting this program. Otter Tail County, live your best life here. We want want people to recycle more in both of these cities and throughout the whole county. So with this nice big bin, we're hoping that people will put all their recycling in there. They'll get it picked up every 2 weeks, and they get to recycle plastics number 1 through number 7. In the past, they could only recycle number 1s and 2s that had a neck, but now at curbside, they can recycle all plastics. So their margarine containers, their Cool Whip containers, their yogurt containers, just clean them out, put them into the carts. The one thing that I would like to remind people is just throw it in loose. Don't put any bags. Well, we're very thankful to the state of Minnesota and the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency who funded this grant. We've been working with the city of Perm. We have been working with Steve Sanitation, who is a private hauler, who is now delivering the carts and will pick up all of the recycled material. We're also going to work with the city of Fergus Falls.
If people have questions, make sure they reach out to either the City Hall here or Steve Sanitation, and we're here to help. We're here to get people to participate, and just reach out if you have questions.